And shakers. Now let's take a look at the Indonesian stock market today on Thursday. The Indonesian composite index, or the IDX, was down by 0.27%. The IDX composite fell as major stocks in sectors such as health, non-primary consumer, financial, and basic materials slipped. However, the technology sector, or tech sector, strengthened alongside infrastructure. Among the top gainers today on the IDX were Adi Sarana Armada, Autopedia, Sukses Lestari, and Palm Mineral. And meanwhile, the top losers on the Indonesian Composite Index were Jasa Berdikari Logistics, Gaya Abadi Sempurna, and Andalan Sakti Prima Indo. Meanwhile, the Indonesian rupiah gained 0.31%, strengthening against the US dollar to 15,159 rupiah per dollar. All right, now let's move on to commodity prices. WTI, or US oil, was up 0.48% to $78.97 per barrel, while Brent crude also up by 0.32% to $85.65 per barrel. Oil markets edged up as markets shrugged off U.S. inventory surge. All right, moving on to gold, which was also up by 0.21% as the dollar eased. Was the largest in more than 2 decades. Driving the gain was a jump in auto sales, along with healthy spending at restaurants, electronics stores, and furniture outlets. Wednesday's robust retail sales figures, along with a strong January job report, suggest that the U.S. economy remains durable, perhaps even strengthening, and at little risk of succumbing to a recession anytime soon. Earlier this week, economists at Goldman Sachs reduced the likelihood of a recession this year from 35% to just 25%. However, the combination of solid spending and hiring will also likely raise pressure the Federal Reserve to raise its benchmark interest rates even further. The Fed has already signaled that it expects to carry out 2 more quarter-point or 25 basis point hikes to a range of 5 to 5.25%, which will be the highest level in 15 years. All right, now let's take a look at global stock markets, and let us start with the Asia Pacific, where markets were in the green mostly on Thursday. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 was up by 0.7%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index also up, but by 0.84%. Meanwhile, the South Korean Kospi Index gained the most out of the 3, up by 1.96%. Asian markets were mostly higher as investors digested Japan's record trade deficit of 3.5 trillion yen, about $26 billion, as well as the stronger than expected U.S. retail sales data that jumped in January. All right, speaking of U.S. retail sales, let's now move over to the United States and Wall Street, where major composites all gained on Wednesday. This is on Wednesday Eastern Time. Last night in the United States, the Dow Jones Index up by 0.11%, the tech-heavy Nasdaq up by 0.92%, the S&P 500 also in the green, up by 0.28%. Now, stocks closed higher during the regular trading session in the U.S., despite dropping earlier in the day after the release of the retail sales report, as it suggested that the Fed may have further to go in its efforts to tame inflation.